Hello, welcome to Fast and Dirty, presented by Harrow's Automotive Center in Vero Beach, Florida. Today we're going to be working on the 1965 Mustang. We're going to be swapping the drum brakes out for Wilwood disc brakes. This is a non-sponsored video, so we're actually going to give you our honest opinion of what we think about putting it together. And when it's all done, we're going to take the car out, kick it around a little bit, and actually give you our opinion of what the car actually drives and feels like. As far as its braking performance, that'll be in a later video when we actually finish up the car and do an overall. This is actually a pretty straightforward brake assembly swap. You can actually take this whole assembly off in one piece, and that's what we're going to be showing you here today. And then it's instructional on how to assemble this braking system. It's very, very inclusive as far as the parts and hardware that it comes with. So it's fairly straightforward. So we're going to get to knocking this out real quick and then get to the next part of it. We already removed our dust cap to save time. And our cotter pin, we also already undid our brake line, but it's undoing a brake line, a cotter pin, and a dust cap, not the most difficult things to do in the automotive world. All we're going to do for the most part is remove this cap or nut. It does come again with a cotter pin, so don't just think you're going to spin it on off there real quick. At least it should have a cotter pin. And then what you're going to want to do is undo the 4 bolts in the back. It actually retains the backing plate to the spindle, and that's actually what holds everything on. All of your attaching hardware, the shoes, springs, things like that, all of that attaches to the backing plate. So if you can get the backing plate undone from the back, this whole assembly, in theory, should slide out. We already undid our brake line, and we've already taken the bolts off from the back, but we haven't actually busted it loose yet. Our handy dandy hammer, and let's see what happens. And just like that, one little pop, and whole assembly right off. Again, 4 bolts in the back, 1 bolt in the front, not overly difficult. So, as you can see, there are 4 bolts in the back. That's actually the part that is going to be, that retains the backing plate onto the spindle. We're going to clean it up here a little bit. A lot of this is just grease. We've already redone our bearings in a later video. Anybody who doesn't know how to grease bearings, though, it's very, very simple. You're just looking to push the grease into the bearing assembly. This is our outer bearing, and when you're doing it, you want to scoop the grease into the bearing, and it pushes it through and out to the top. And you just want to make sure you get a good coating along the bearing ridge. It's actually super, super important to make sure you get the grease actually into the bearing assembly, not just on the outside of the bearing to basically coat the race of the bearing, the bearing races. Putting this together, do not throw it around first, because that's a mistake. You want to take this handy dandy bracket, and this is actually what you're going to line up first. Find your line of holes, that's our R's right there. Take your hardware, and again, this is all pretty much self-explanatory, right, as far as hardware assembly goes. Big nut's going to go through the bigger spot, or a bigger bolt, right, and then you're just going to put these where they go. Not a difficult process. You can actually just look in and see them. Then we have nuts and washers for the backside as well. Again, the kit is very, very inclusive. It really tells you everything you need to do and need to have. It comes with everything but the guide to put them on. say that when you do these, the tie rod end link, the nut that goes through there, that is the longest one, and it actually has to get wrenched out by hand with a wrench, so you can't just air gun those ones out. Everything else though, free game, you know, have at it, get them out as fast as you can, don't break anything, but that's always kind of our rule, right? Is do what you can, don't break it. So, we are just going to go nice and simple. Coming out of time lapse, what we did is we got our new caliper on, or our new rotor on. We have our cotter pin, our castle nut cap, and our castle nut, or our axle nut, spindle nut, whatever you want to call it. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take this handy dandy nice black cap. It's already been pre-filled with grease. And we're just going to put it on. As far as the installation of the rotor, that's it. The calipers on these are pretty easy to load. All you have to do, you have to shim these out. And what you're looking for is you're looking for a balance between the pads to sit in here, and you want equal distance between the rotor and each side of the caliper. This is not a floating caliper system. So, floating caliper, it would slide back and forth, gives you a little bit of wiggle room, technically. This, not that kind of setup. This needs to be shimmed properly. So, shimming these are important. You're not necessarily going to use the same shims on each side. Or the same amount. You might not even use the same amount of shims between the top and bottom bolt, which is, to some people boggles their mind because they can't dig the concept. But fairly easy and straightforward. Again, as long as you're mechanically inclined, you can get the system put it in and it not be all that difficult. I would consider this personally to me, it's like a difficulty of 2. To some people, it may seem like more of a daunting task, where it seems a little bit harder, and they consider it like a 10. But even if you consider it a 10 to do a brake swap like this, one step at a time. Okay, mechanics is simple if you can understand it. Slow down, one bolt at a time, one step at a time. Just remember where things go. That's the most important part. You know, not saying everyone should just start tearing things apart and rebuilding a car. It takes time, it takes patience, but there's a lot of enjoyment in it. So we're going to go back to time lapse and kind of speed this up, and then we'll bring the camera over and we'll actually show you what we mean by lining it up and it being correct. All right. The only thing that's really left to do is we just have to hook up our brake line, put in our pads. The pads are just drop in and then they're held on by a little clip. Let me get the pads for you real quick. So the pads are just these little drop-in pads. So they're just going to drop into the system like so. one on each side. Right, and then pin goes through, and just like your cotter pin, you're just going to bend it around. I know that's probably oversimplification for most people, because I'm sure most of the people watching this video have done brake jobs numerous times. And then it's bleed out the system like you do anything else. Bleed from the top bleeder. There are 4 bleeders on these calipers. Always bleed from the top, both sides, front and back, because you got 2 different reservoirs because it's a 4-piston setup. So you're going to bleed fronts on both sides, the back bleeder screw and the front bleeder screw, and then try to enjoy your new braking system. Check for leaks, obviously, things like that. Top off your master cylinder. Make sure it's full before you go out and enjoy your new braking system. But other than that, go out and have fun. This channel is all about building things and having fun. We have many more projects that we're going to be doing. We have a Resto Mod 1979 Firebird we're going to be building. Formula Firebird. It's going to be a twin turbo car. This car here is a Resto Mod-ish car. It's our 1965 Mustang GT. Well, it's a 1965 Mustang. I don't quite think it's a GT, but 1965 Mustang. It's a factory 3-speed car, which leads me to think it's not a GT. But no, it's a factory standard transmission car. We've upgraded it to a Tremit 5-speed transmission. It has a shortened and narrowed 9-inch rear end in it, and it has a 347 stroker engine. All these things make it very, very fun car to drive. We're also going to be putting in a TMI pony interior that we have on order, and that'll be coming here shortly, and we'll be doing a video on that as well. We also built a full custom trunk, and we'll be tearing that back apart to show people how we actually went and built it, because a custom trunk looks nice on a car. Another car we're going to be doing videos on very, very shortly is a giveaway car. The giveaway car is not for the regular public-ish. I know other giveaways have been done on YouTube. This is not going to be a YouTube-style giveaway. It's a car that we're going to build here in the shop. It's a 1950 Ford shoebox that we're going to be doing a chassis swap with a Lincoln. It should be a very exciting car. And all the proceeds for that car are actually going to go to St. Jude's in Tampa, Florida. Because it's just our way of giving back to the community and giving back to those who really need it and who needs charity more than children. It's an important thing for me and my wife, and it's something near and dear to our hearts. Cancer has ravaged many families, including ours. So please stay tuned for more videos and things to come. I know this is a little bit not what most people usually probably want to see. They probably want to see welding and excitement. This is just a brake job, and I understand that. We're going to be showing videos on everything from motorcycles to lifted trucks. So please stay tuned for more videos, and hey, keep it fast and keep it dirty. If it's not fast, make it fast. If it's not dirty, get it dirty. And we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.